Okay, welcome to a new episode of Nate's MMA Corner. I'm Nate, and if you watch my show, you're in my corner. Uh, today, today's episode is a pre-fight for UFC 214. DC Daniel Cormier, UFC light heavyweight champ, defending against John Bones Jones. Rematch of the ages, rematch of the century. It's going to be a great fight. I'm totally convinced John Jones is going to win this fight. And it's going to be exciting. How does he get it done? Yeah, I know on UFC tonight, Michael Bisping and Kenny Florian, they picked DC to win. Sorry, guys. I'm telling you guys right now, you guys are wrong. John Jones wins this one fairly easy. I think he's focused. I think he's driven, and I think he gets it done by decision, and possibly a late finish too. I mean, not two, but either decision or late finish. But yeah, this is a post-fight rundown, or pre-fight rundown of the main card with predictions. So let's get started. So yeah, light heavyweight clash for the UFC light heavyweight title, the 205-pound title. Daniel Cormier defending against John Jones, and I'm picking John Jones to win by unanimous decision more than anything else. I think he stays out of the pocket with DC, and he hits him with one and two punch combinations. And he just uses his reach and works the jab, works the jab, works the jab, works the jab, and then maybe goes for a takedown at some point mid to late into the fight and scores even more points. But I think DC is going to be good enough to pop right back up. And I think it's going to be a lot like the first fight. I think the first fight was, a lot of people had it like 4 rounds to 1 for John Jones. And I think that's pretty much where this rematch is going to head. John Jones will get his belt back, and hopefully all's dandy after that. But yeah, regardless, this is going to be a fun, exciting fight, and I'm interested to see how this plays out. Then in the welterweight division, we have the welterweight UFC title on the line, the 170-pound title. Tyrone Woodley defending the belt against Damian Maia. Tyrone Woodley, great wrestler, respectable grappling, and heavy hands in his striking, especially with his boxing. And Damian Maia, all grappling. He's gotten nudges better here and there on his striking, and obviously just good on the ground. However, I'm picking Tyrone Woodley to win this, and I think he gets it done. Second round knockout. I think that he eventually lands some shots late in the first round in Damian Maia, and then finishes them in the second. I think Tyrone Woodley will just land enough heavy shots where Damian Maia will be worn out, and then in the second round, Woodley will capitalize and finish him. Then in defending his belt, then in the women's featherweight division, we have the women's featherweight championship on the line in the UFC for the vacant title. Cyborg versus Tanya Evinger. Tanya, Invicta FC bantamweight champion going into the UFC. Cyborg was the featherweight champ in Invicta FC. And yeah, they're fighting for the vacant title, with Tanya going up 10 pounds to featherweight for this fight. And I am picking Cyborg first round knockout. I think this is going to be a quick fight. I think that Evinger's grappling is great. However, Cyborg, we never really see a lot of her grappling, but she's a highly skilled grappler, and she'll be able to deal with avoiding the ground game and keep it standing. And I think at some point, Evinger, mid to late in the first round, is going to go for takedowns, because she might eat 1 or 2 heavy shots of Cyborg and say, wow, you know what, I don't like getting hit by Cyborg, so I'm going to push to get that ground game going. And it's not going to be there, and then Cyborg's going to knock out Evinger, maybe in the clinch with an uppercut or something, and that'll be all she wrote. So yeah, Cyborg first round knockout. Then in the welterweight division, we have Robbie Lawler, the ruthless one, going up against Donald Cowboy Cerrone. And I'm picking Robbie Lawler's second round submission knockout, because I think that Robbie Lawler can take a punch. I mean, this guy, yeah, he got stopped by Woodley, but you know, you look at his fights against Rory McDonald. I mean, he ate some heavy shots in that fight, and I think he can just go constantly at it. And I think he hits hard, and I think once he lands on Donald Cerrone, then he'll finish him at some point. Not to take anything away from Donald Cerrone, I'm a big fan of him. I like both these fighters, but I think Lawler is going to be the better fighter that night. So Lawler, second round submission. Then in the light heavyweight division, we have Jimmy Manuwa versus Volkan Ozdemir. Now Volkan Ozdemir, this guy, you know, just like it's like I can't write him off. Like, I'm not very confident in this pick. I mean, I want to say him, but at the same time, I'm like, well, gee, you know what? Like, this is a guy that came in and fought OSP and you know, made it look easy, and then yeah, so I'm giving Jimmy Manuwa a first round knockout victory here because Jimmy's boxing is stellar. But who knows? I mean, Volkan could initiate a ground game and go for takedowns and possibly get him. Jimmy Manuwa is not impossible to take down. So if Jimmy Manuwa is ready to defend takedowns, then I think he wins this pretty quick. After he defends takedowns, he uses his jabs and gets some combinations going. It's going to be a short night for Volkan and a big win for Jimmy Manuwa. So I'm picking, yeah, Manuwa by first round knockout, but I could easily be right about this one or easily be wrong. Volkan could jump on top of Jimmy and then pound him out a little bit, then work a submission game, or win a unanimous decision. So I could easily see either one happening, but I'm going to say 51% chance Jimmy Manuwa gets a first round knockout here. So that's my pick there, and so there you have it, folks. There is my picks on the main card. And then honorable mention on the prelims, we have a catchweight bout at 140 with Aljamain Sterling and Renan Barão. And I have to mention this fight briefly because at one point I considered Renan Barão the greatest fighter in the world when he was champion. And I gotta say, I think Aljamain Sterling gets it done. I think he's going to be the smarter, faster fighter, and he's going to work. I think he may be that fighter to actually be able to take down Barão, but we'll see. But yeah, I'm picking Aljamain Sterling by unanimous decision on this one. I think this one goes a distance, and it's going to be a hard-fought fight for either guy. Maybe Barão might be able to land some flashy strikes and get a knockout, but Aljo's pretty fast, so we'll see. So there you have it. There's my pre-fight predictions for UFC 214. And stay tuned in the coming days for my post-fight. And until then, see ya!